I told you. I told you. I told you. Canelo Crawford, the game is in shambles. The fight happened. And now we're hearing a whole bunch from the world of boxing, we'll just say, right? Some people are saying Terence Crawford cheated in this way. Some people are saying Canelo was too old. Some people were saying it wasn't a fair fight. Yada, yada, yada. So in this video, I'm going to break down and let you listen to what's going on in the world of boxing post Canelo Crawford. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, when Boxing Ego tells you guys something, you are better off just listening to me, bro. I know the negative Nancy's, the haters, they're like, oh no, Ego, but why? They want me to be wrong, but I warned you about this particular fight, Canelo Crawford. There was a specific reason why I wasn't really involved, like excited for the fight. And I do this every single day. So as a lifelong and diehard boxing fan and channel, somebody who's dedicated my life to the sport, 18 plus years, you know, the best in the business, and it's not even close. Everything I said came true. Now we are hearing multitudes of things about the fight. Should Crawford be given credit? You know, some people are exaggerating and, you know, using this win to compare Crawford to historic greats, bunch of fantasy stuff. And this is what happens when you have this kind of video game fight. So one thing that I've been hearing, I don't duck or dodge any subject matter. Some people are saying that Crawford cheated, right? The premise is snack, right? Despite Canelo in his gym having a lot of people have tested positive, Canelo himself tested positive for clenbuterol. People are talking about snack. Then you guys are sending me videos like the one we're getting ready to listen to in the next 1 minute. And it's people who I guess have boxing podcasts or platforms, and they're saying something was wrong with Terence Crawford's gloves in the Canelo fight. So without further ado, roll the clip.
Here's a video of Terence Crawford warming up in his locker room Saturday night. I want y'all to pay attention to the gloves. They don't look flimsy. They don't look worn. They look like how they're supposed to look like. And here during the fight, very flimsy. He's able to open his hand flat. Now, I'm not saying this would have changed the outcome of the fight. Crawford's a very talented fighter. What I am saying is the fact that Canelo was getting hit with tampered gloves could have severely changed the way he fought this fight. But it's something I can't just ignore. It's really bothering me. I also can't ignore the fact that now it's Monday and CompuBox adjusted their totals that Canelo landed at almost 30% to Crawford's 21. Landed more to the body and landed more body punches, but yet still lost this fight. If you don't believe me, why don't you just go to CompuBox yourself and see for yourself. Crawford threw more punches, indeed. He also landed at a less percentage, landed less power punches and body shots. So I'm not sure where people say Crawford won by a landslide. It was an extremely close fight, and a lot of rounds could have gone either way. Here's a video of Terence Crawford warming.
Okay, now you gotta definitely take what you hear from people like that with a grain of salt. Here's why. When a person opens up their argument and then they drift off into something completely different, to me, that's a lack of a sound argument. This dude started talking about Crawford had gloves in the locker room that they looked full, basically. But as the fight wore on, it looked like there was some give to the gloves. Anybody who boxes know there's wear and tear. You break in gloves. I mean, even if you bought a pair of sneakers, you'll know that, right? Where you get a brand new pair of sneakers out the box and you wear them a couple times and dance in them or whatever, walk the mall, walk around the block, you're going to break in this material. So that's not a good argument. Talking about the gloves look flimsy. Oh, I love my job. The gloves look flimsy. And he said, this doesn't sit well with me. And it's really bothering me that Crawford had tampered gloves. Then he was like, I'm not saying that this would change the outcome of the fight. So what are you saying? You start off by saying the gloves are tampered and, making it sound like Crawford cheated. Then you said you don't know that it would change the outcome, right? Just go back. You don't have to take my word for it. Go back and listen to it. I just played it for you. Then you're saying you don't know if the outcome would be any different. And then by the end of the video, you started speaking about how the rounds were really close and it could have went either way. And basically Canelo didn't really lose, and you don't understand why people are saying Crawford dominated. So let's just take this and throw it out the window because it sounds stupid, right? You're all over the place. The gloves are tampered. I'm not saying the fight would be different because Crawford's a talented fighter if they weren't tampered, but it really bothers me that it might be tampered, but I can't prove it. But why are you guys saying Crawford dominated when Canelo was winning rounds and it was a close fight? Like, this sounds nonsensical. Nonsensical. This is what fights like this bring to the table. I told you Canelo was not going to want to lose this fight because it was a much smaller man. This was a forced fight. They forced it. They made it. And in doing so, now this is what the game is reduced to because Canelo lost. Canelo lost, and now it's a million, it's like people can't grasp him losing to such a smaller guy. So now they're saying Crawford cheated and it wasn't fair, right? So that's one argument. We'll get into the second. Now, this is Mario Lopez, a.k.a. AC Slater, and he's basically making excuses that Canelo was too old, right? On his show with Steve Kim. Roll the clip.
And she leans over and she goes, I can't believe that I sang the national anthem to the...
We got to run that back. Hold on.
So right before the fight, my wife was with me. We're about to watch the fight, and she leans over and she goes, I can't believe that I sang the national anthem to the Canelo Triple G fight over 9 years ago. And for some reason, that struck a chord with me, and I'm like, wow, he's been champion for a long time. And then I don't know why, at that moment, I felt, does he get old tonight? He's been on top for a long time. And again, I don't want to take anything away from Bud, because he was fantastic. But that was a Canelo who looked like he was tired, who looked like he couldn't pull the trigger anymore. His mind was there, and it just looked like the body wasn't reacting. I don't know if physically he is capable to do the things he was once able to do. And you could tell, bro, he had, and this is a stat, 7 jabs. A total of 7 jabs into the 11th round, Kim. 7 jabs. You're not setting anything up with just 7 jabs. So right before the fight, my wife...
So that's Mario Lopez basically saying that Canelo, father time, his wife says she sang at the Canelo Triple G fight, which was 9 years ago. And then he magically thought, even though it's not on record, that, hey, does Canelo get old overnight? Now, here's the thing. I told you guys before this fight happened that Canelo Alvarez had shown signs of decay, shown signs of regression. He had looked like there was some slippage from many fights. Pretty much after Caleb Plant. That was his last, he got a knockout. That was his last knockout, last performance that was kind of punctuated against a good person. Fights like John Ryder, he had every advantage, not that big of a guy, domestic level guy at best, and he was at home in Mexico, and he didn't really like he beat him, but you put David Morrell with John Ryder, he getting stopped. You know what I mean? Put Benavidez with John Ryder, he getting stopped. So I've told you this. So I'm qualified to say that about Canelo because I was saying it before the fight took place. I told you Canelo didn't look great versus William Skull. And I said the only level of intrigue, and you guys can watch the content, it is still available on my channel. I said the only level of intrigue is Terence Bud Crawford is a more skillful, dynamic fighter. Can he take Canelo's power year off, moving up 2 weight classes and, fighting in a weight class that is uncharted territory? That was the only dynamic. We knew Crawford got more tools. He's ambidextrous. He's more clever. Even though he's calendar years older, he's still the fresher fighter. We knew all of this. I told you all this. There was one selling point, and it was Canelo's size. Could that get something done? Size and power, right? Point blank, period. That was the tail of the tape. Everything else favored Crawford. And then when he started looking bigger than Canelo Alvarez, right? He started looking bigger. And when he got in the ring and he was able to take Canelo's best shots, that question was immediately answered. He ate it and outworked Canelo. So I feel vindicated per usual. The stuff I say on my channel often reigns supreme. This is why I didn't like this fight, because now you have a guy in Crawford who still not his natural weight class. Could have done great work at 54 in his stacked division. Canelo could have hopefully fought David Benavidez. Now I don't even know if people care, right? And Crawford, if he wanted to eventually move up, he could have did that. But they blew their wad, overpaid the fighters. It wasn't, I don't think that is going to do better numbers on Netflix than Jake Paul and Tank Davis. I've already said that. They're pushing each other, making side bets. In 2 days of press conference from Jake and Tank, it's already a better buildup than the months leading up to Canelo Crawford. Now, you could argue, oh, one fight means more and one's a clown fight. I don't care about none of that. We're just talking about numbers. I didn't say what fight means more to boxing, what's more realistic. We just talking about numbers. Whether you like it or not, numbers are numbers. And I think the numbers on Netflix for Jake and Tank will do better. So, yeah, this is why I didn't like this fight, because now people are making excuses. Crawford cheated. Something was up. Tampered gloves. He got old overnight. And even if Canelo won, I told you it was a lose-lose. If Canelo won, then they would have said Bud was too small. So it really wasn't a big win. This was Turkey's brainchild. He executed and made the fight happen, and the game didn't really grow from it, right? It didn't. We already knew Crawford was a good fighter, and now people are left to pick up the pieces.